Dear Diary, it's Halloween season. Time for buckets of blood and gore, psycho murderers around every corner, ghosts, witches, and devils possessing your body and making you do unspeakable horrors, like eating an Olive Garden. So how will I be celebrating this grotesque season? By playing the frightening game of Costume Quest. The game opens, and I'm already on the edge of my seat. There's something very unnerving about the typicalness of the suburbs. That's where the serial killers always live, hiding in the shadows, waiting for their next victim. Inside a house that looks just like all the others, I meet a quote-unquote average family discussing the best way to celebrate this ghastly holiday. Ew, it's twins. You know what's even creepier than having a human grow and live inside your body? Having two humans ripping and tearing their way out. Ugh. The monster twins, Reynold and Rin, are fighting about whatever the fuck kids usually fight about. I mean, listen, you have no responsibilities right now. No job, no bills, no worrying late at night about today's economy, or how you're ever going to retire when you're living from paycheck to paycheck. None of that. Being a kid is the best time of your life, so shut your fucking mouths, you little shits. You get out there and you beg for candy, because once you turn 12, it'll be legal in at least 5 states. At this point, I guess it was time for me to pick which twin I wanted to play as. They both looked like little assholes, so I just flipped a coin. And it seems Lady Luck smiled upon Rin, and she's especially smug about it. Outside, Rin is laying down the trick-or-treating laws and threatening to tell their parents what Reynold did to the cat if he blows this night for her. What did he do to the cat? You can't just make a statement like that and not explain further. Ugh, whatever, man. I guess we'll just ignore that comment and move on to the next door neighbor's house. Mother of God, look at that honker! And Diary, get this shit. This neighbor turns up her bird beak at Reynold's costume and refuses to give them actual candy, and instead gives them stale marzipan she found on her couch. Who the fuck does that? Are you the costume police? Is it your job to go around being a McJudgy, bringing down kids' self-esteem? I don't think so. It's your job to fucking put some Mars bars in the kids' bag and send them along. Just because all the fun holidays are over for you, doesn't mean you gotta bring everyone else down. But I do agree, his costume concept is fucking dumb. Even the mere idea of vegetable-themed candy is ridiculous. Halloween is serious business. Don't come at me with fucking corn candy. Whoever invented that should be ashamed. Corn is not fun. Do you know what the third ingredient of candy corn is, Diary? Fucking wax. You know where else wax is found? In the ear. And that's why candy corn tastes like earwax. It's almost as bad as circus peanuts. We scooted next door and Rin decided this time to poorly hide behind the mailbox, so she wouldn't get candy punished for her brother's poor life choices. And of course, this is the moment when a sugar-seeking ass goblin answers the door, takes one look at my dumbass brother, and decides to snatch him up. The goblin runs down the street with him and tries to enter through the spooky gates, but the security speakers won't let him in. Apparently, the gates will only open once all of the candy has been stolen, so the goblin just throws Reynold over the gate, and I'm assuming paralyzing him from the neck down. There's no way he got through that unharmed. Is Rin pissed off that her brother was stolen and possibly killed by a creature that shouldn't exist? No. She's pissed off that her trick-or-treating has been slowed down, because you never come between a kid and their sugar rush. Rin just flips her shit and transforms into a giant robot and engages in turn-based combat with a goblin. Alright, this went off the rails a little bit, but I dig. She ultimately defeats him with her robot missiles, and the goblin bursts into smoke and candy. Yep, sounds like Halloween. When she comes back to reality, there's another weirdo wandering around. Looks like someone got lost on their way to the LARP party. I'm assuming Dorsilla is the queen bitch of the goblins, and her special powers include tornadoes, but really crappy ones. I thought it'd be halfway across town, but I'm like 6 feet away. You can do the same damage with a really hard shove. And then a drunk mummy crashes into some garbage cans. See, Diary, I told you the suburbs were scary. It hasn't even been 10 minutes yet. We've already experienced animal cruelty, costume harassment, kidnapping, fighting, death, unnatural disasters, and driving while under the influence and fleeing the scene. This is a fucked up game. And now Rin is left all alone, costumeless on the sidewalk, sulking about her life. Until a cat with an orange butthole shows up and gives her instructions on how to make another robot costume. She immediately gets to work rummaging through neighbors' mailboxes, trash cans, and backyard coffins, until she finds the perfect pieces of trash to remake her costume. Score! Upon pulling my robot self together, I see this weird mummy street blockade and a scuffle with a mummy leader in the night. The knight urges me to run away because Travis, the town bully, is gonna knock my teeth in. Luckily, I have these amazing robot wheels, and I'm able to outrun him no problem, and I make this super sweet jump, gaining admiration from all of his mummy followers. Travis crashes into some trash cans. Jesus, is everyone drunk tonight? Holy moly! Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Everett and I decided to stick together since our costumes are so badass. And instead of going home and telling my parents what happened so they can file a missing persons report, we do some more trick-or-treating. Because hey, candy is more important than a human life. We continue going from house to house, and sometimes it's an adult giving us candy, and sometimes it's a goblin. When it was a goblin, Everett and I had to battle them, avenging the homeowners that I'm sure were murdered inside. We eventually clear all the houses and backyards in the neighborhood, except we weren't allowed in this American-themed party, not patriotic enough. It wasn't until I found instructions for a Statue of Liberty costume, and let me just say, oh beautiful for spacious skies, why would you want to be any other costume? We also stopped by the park and inappropriately bobbed for this guy's apples so we can get more candy. I'm sure he also has an unmarked windowless van parked around the corner, with a litter of puppies inside. No thank you, Bob. You'll have to get your sick kicks from somewhere else. Eventually, we rob enough houses of their candy for the spooky cemetery gates to open. Once inside, we encounter more goblins, and see them loading up bags of candy along with Reynold onto a bus. Not backing down without a fight, we challenged middle management to a duel. Even with his backup sorcerers and sidekick Megaphone, we left him whimpering in the dirt. After his death, we jumped aboard the bus, but it was headed to a much darker and sinister place than we could ever imagine. A place known as Retail Hell, the Autumn Haven Mall. Until next time, diary, if I make it out alive, your fearful friend, Brittany Saturn.
Surprise! Get that cone out of my face! Get that cone out of my face! I look like a fool last night.